All right, today we're going to dive into something really simple, but honestly, super powerful. It's a practice for calming our nervous systems together, and all it takes is your breath and just a moment of gentle touch.
Okay, let's start with something I think we've all felt, right? That weird sense of disconnect from someone you really care about, even when they're sitting right there next to you. Maybe it's after a super long, stressful day, or, uh, or in that awkward quiet after a disagreement.
Well, this practice we're talking about, it's made for exactly those moments, for when words just feel like too much, or you just can't find the right ones, but you still really crave that feeling of closeness and safety. So, you're probably wondering, how does this actually work? Well, it all starts with a really fundamental truth about our bodies. Your nervous system is always listening, like 24/7. And get this, it's not listening for words, it's listening for these really primal signals. It's paying super close attention to things like the rhythm of someone's breath, their posture, the kind of touch they use, and it's using all that to decide in like a split second whether you're safe or you're in danger. It's just your biology, trying to keep you safe.
And that brings us right to the heart of this whole thing, co-regulation. It's this absolutely beautiful biological process where two nervous systems can actually soothe and settle each other. Think about it. When one person is calm, their steadiness can literally be borrowed by the other person's system to help it find its way back to safety. How cool is that?
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting. A simple little change in how you're sitting can make all the difference in the world. Being face-to-face, especially when things are tense, to our nervous system, that can feel kind of confrontational. But the moment you shift to sitting side by side, wow, it feels supportive, less exposed, and it just immediately lowers our defenses.
So this whole practice, it basically uses three super powerful nonverbal cues to send a really clear message to the body that says, hey, you're safe. And what are they? A slow, steady breath, a gentle, predictable touch, and just the simple gift of being quietly present.
All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. How do we actually do this? Let's walk through the shared breath practice. And trust me, it's wonderfully simple.
Okay, before we start, the most important thing to remember is this. Let go of any agenda. Seriously, you're not trying to fix a problem, you're not trying to force a feeling. The only goal here is to just be present with each other. That's it.
Step 1 is easy. Just find a comfy spot to sit next to each other. Could be a couch, the floor, whatever works. Then, you're going to agree on a gentle point of contact that feels natural and, totally unintrusive for both of you.
And really, the touch itself can be incredibly simple. It doesn't have to be some big gesture. It can be as subtle as your knees touching, or your shoulders resting side by side, or even just the absolute lightest press of a fingertip. Super simple.
Okay, so here's the practice itself. Each of you just place a hand over your own heart, and then just start to gently slow your breathing down. A soft inhale and a really easy exhale. And then, without forcing it at all, just allow your breaths to find a shared rhythm. Maybe you'll match theirs, maybe they'll match yours. Just let it happen.
And as you're breathing, just bring your awareness to that physical point of contact between you two. Let that little sensation be your anchor. It's this quiet, constant reminder that, hey, you're not alone in this moment.
And now, just notice. That's all. Pay attention to any tiny little changes in your own body. Do your shoulders soften a little bit? Does your mind maybe loosen its grip on a stressful thought? See, co-regulation often works in these really subtle, gentle ways.
All right, so what's the big picture here? Let's talk about rebuilding safety together. Because this isn't just about a few quiet minutes. It's about how this practice builds a foundation for connection that lasts long, long after you're done.
When you start doing this regularly, the benefits are they're profound. It really softens our tendency to get all defensive, right? Which means fewer of those arguments that just spiral out of control. It dials down anxiety and rebuilds that core feeling of safety in the relationship. It really creates this feeling of we, this team feeling, which makes it so much easier for real communication to flow later on.
So I want to leave you with this. It's a simple question, but it's a powerful one. Just take a moment and ask yourself, what shifts inside you? What does your body feel when you remember that we are biologically hardwired to find safety together? That we were never ever meant to do this all alone?